In this video, we're going to go over mimic clipping. Just clipping a mimic through a wall, off the screen, causing shutter doors to open. Shutter doors open because it requires 0 killable enemies to be left on the screen, which means you can either kill the mimics to get them off the screen, or just get them off the screen. There's 2 ways to do that. The first one is block clipping, shown in the picture above, and wall clipping, shown in the picture in the bottom. Both of those are setups that we'll be using, so you know when the mimic is in the correct position to do specific alignments. So when we enter this room, the bottom right mimic is already in position, so you just slash and hold up, and the mimic will move into the block. The only thing that matters here is the X position of the mimic. So it doesn't matter how far into the block it moves, just so long as it has this shadow alignment once it's in the block. Move it up or down, doesn't really matter where you start clipping, you just want it to be at this X position so that it is in the right spot. Once you have it there, you'll want to buffer yourself to the right one so that the mimic moves left into block 1 frame. We'll do that here, and you'll see that the mimic has moved a little bit farther into the block. Now we just hold down, the mimic will slide out of the room. Now we have to do that to the other mimic, so we'll move it down to the right alignment, move it down and buffer it to the right one as well. Then we'll hold down and it'll slide out of the room as well. Next up is wall clipping. The wall clipping is a little bit more tricky because you have to do a lot of buffered movements to get it out. The reason why it works is that mimics will move into the wall slowly over time and eventually they'll move out of bounds through the wall. So you'll essentially be buffering them right 1 pixel, the same as the other one, but instead of getting them out of the screen in one go, you have to get them all the way through the wall. So to do that, we've buffered them 1 pixel into the wall, but now we have to keep moving them. So you have to move them 1 pixel into the wall and then up or down to store that 1 pixel into the wall so that you can keep doing it over and over again. Just like this, until they're finally far enough to go through the wall. It does take a substantial amount of time. Buffering, not only do they always move through the wall, but you have to do it about 9 times before they're finally far enough in. That's about far enough in. I might have to do 1 more pixel for one of them because they got a little offset. But as you can see from the picture on my screen and where they are now on the actual video, the bottom of their shadow is about 1 pixel to the right of the wall's shadow. That's far enough for them to slide out. So yeah. So what's happening now is they're moving up instead of down even though I'm holding up, which means they've gone far enough in to just slide out of the room. I'm just going to keep sliding until they've left the room. Now we can continue on without them. From here you just move on, and we've skipped the bow and GT. This is also applicable in PoD, because you can move the red mimic through the wall in the same method. We'll get the green mimics all the way over here and just kill them. You don't need to deal with them. Same method, but we still have to clip this mimic through the wall. So we'll just do the same thing over here. Buffer it immediately 1 pixel into the wall until it's through the wall entirely. This doesn't have any bearing towards completing PoD or completing Eastern because you still need the bow to shoot the statue in PoD, open the wall to head to Helmasaur, and the enemies in Eastern that require a bow are red Igors, and thus they don't mimic your movements, so you can't actually just send them out of the wall. We're just going to keep doing this repeatedly here. I can move to the right. Not buffering correctly anymore. Unless they're moving. There we go. Oh, got a little too far on that one, so I popped him out of the wall a little bit by accident. I'm gonna move him down a little bit more so we can see his shadow better while we move him. I think 1 more pixel will do. Not enough yet. That might be it. No. Almost. There we go. So now he's moving up, just like the other ones, and he'll slide out of the room, and we'll be able to continue on. So that's PoD without the bow as well. You can't beat the entire dungeon, as I said earlier. So this really just gets you the 2 chests up here, and that's about it. So that's the only benefit it has to PoD. You'll basically never get key locked in PoD because you can get all the keys from the right side if there isn't a key in the front door. So you'll always be able to do all of PoD except for Helmasaur using this trick. And it takes nothing at all to do it. You don't need anything but the ability to kill the green mimics. Although you can still clip the green mimics out of bounds as well. That just is a waste of time. So that's the benefits to mimic clipping. You can get through PoD, or you can get through the right side of PoD to get the first 2 chests, and continue on if there's an item in the left causing you to get key locked. And you can go through the upstairs GT and beat Aghanim 2 without a bow at all. Which means if Eastern and PoD are both pendants, you can full clear the game without the bow ever. That'll be a method or a benefit to mimic clipping. That's all there is for this video, and thanks for watching.